You've been doing everything right, meal prepping on Sundays, swapping white bread for whole grain, choosing salads over burgers, tracking your macros, reading every ingredient label like it's a legal document. You're eating healthy. You're one of the good ones. So why do you still feel off? Maybe it's the afternoon crashes, the brain fog that rolls in around 2 p.m., the constant bloating, the weird skin issues that won't go away, the scale that refuses to budge despite your best efforts. You keep thinking, I'm doing everything right, so what's wrong with me? Here's the thing nobody wants to tell you. That healthy habit you're so proud of, it might actually be making things worse. And I'm not talking about some obscure supplement or trendy superfood. I'm talking about something you probably do every single day, something you've been told is the foundation of healthy eating. Let me ask you this. Do you eat the same healthy foods over and over again? Same breakfast? Same snacks? Same rotation of 5 dinner recipes? Greek yogurt and berries for breakfast? Chicken and broccoli for lunch? Salmon and sweet potato for dinner? Maybe some almonds as a snack. Sound familiar? You've found your safe foods, your healthy staples, and you stick to them religiously. It makes sense, right? These foods are nutritious. They're clean. They're approved by every health influencer you follow. Why mess with a good thing? But here's what's actually happening in your body. Every time you eat the same foods day after day, week after week, you're creating a nutritional echo chamber. You're getting really good at absorbing certain nutrients while completely neglecting others. It's like only working out your right arm at the gym and wondering why you're feeling unbalanced. Your gut microbiome, that complex ecosystem of bacteria in your digestive system, thrives on diversity. It needs variety to function optimally. But when you eat the same 10 foods on repeat, you're essentially starving large portions of your microbiome. Certain bacterial strains flourish while others die off. This imbalance doesn't just affect your digestion. It impacts your mood, your immune system, your energy levels, even your mental clarity. And there's something else happening that's even more insidious. Food sensitivities. Not the dramatic rush to the emergency room allergies. The subtle, slow-burning kind that develop over time when you eat the same foods repeatedly. Your immune system starts to see these foods as threats. It mounts a low-grade inflammatory response every time you eat them. You don't break out in hives. You just feel tired, foggy, a little inflamed, a little off. The cruel irony? The healthier the food, the more likely you are to eat it constantly, and the more likely you are to develop a sensitivity to it. That's why so many health-conscious people end up with issues with eggs, nuts, or even spinach. Foods they eat every single day because they're so good for you. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine someone who's committed to eating healthy. Every morning, they have the same smoothie. Spinach, banana, almond butter, protein powder, almond milk. It's packed with nutrients. It's Instagram-worthy. It feels like the perfect start to the day. They have this smoothie every single morning for 2 years. What they don't realize is that they're consuming massive amounts of oxalates from the spinach. Day after day, their body can't process them all. These oxalates start accumulating in their tissues. They begin experiencing joint pain, kidney stones, or persistent fatigue. But they never connect it to the smoothie because spinach is healthy, right? Or consider the person who eliminated processed foods and now eats chicken breast at least once, maybe twice a day. Grilled chicken for lunch, chicken stir-fry for dinner, chicken in their meal prep for the entire week. They're hitting their protein goals. They're eating lean meat. They're doing it right. Except they're also consuming the same protein source so frequently that their body starts producing antibodies against it. Now that healthy chicken is triggering inflammation every time they eat it. This is the paradox of healthy eating that nobody talks about. The cleaner you eat, the more restrictive you become. The more restrictive you become, the less variety you have. The less variety you have, the more problems you create. And it gets worse. Because you're eating healthy, you don't question your diet when problems arise. You look everywhere else for answers. You blame stress. You blame sleep. You blame genetics. You spend hundreds of dollars on supplements trying to fix issues that are being caused by the very foods you think are helping you. The wellness industry has sold you a lie. They've made you believe that healthy eating means finding the perfect foods and eating them consistently. They've given you a short list of approved foods and told you to stick to it. Eat your greens. Get your protein. Avoid sugar and processed foods. Simple, right? But ancestral eating patterns tell a completely different story. Our ancestors didn't eat the same 20 foods year-round. They ate seasonally. They ate whatever was available. Their diets changed dramatically throughout the year, based on what they could hunt, gather, or grow. One month they'd be eating mostly fish and seaweed. The next month, berries and roots. Then maybe a period of heavier meats and fats. This constant rotation meant they were always getting different nutrients, always feeding different parts of their microbiome, never overloading on any single food. Compare that to the modern health-conscious eater who's had the exact same breakfast for the last 6 months. We've taken the concept of consistency, which is valuable in many areas of life, and misapplied it to nutrition in a way that's actually harmful. Your body needs variety. Not just for the obvious nutritional reasons, but for reasons we're only beginning to understand. Different foods contain different phytonutrients, different types of fiber, different mineral profiles. When you rotate through a wide variety of foods, you're essentially hedging your bets. You're making sure you're not missing anything crucial. You're preventing any single compound from building up to problematic levels. Think about it like this. If you only read one book over and over again, you'd eventually memorize it, but you wouldn't be growing intellectually. If you only talk to one person, your social skills would become one-dimensional. If you only travel to one place, your understanding of the world would be limited. The same principle applies to food. Variety isn't just the spice of life. It's a fundamental requirement for optimal health. But here's where it gets tricky. Breaking out of your food routine is harder than it sounds, especially when you've convinced yourself that your current routine is healthy. You've spent time and mental energy perfecting your meal prep. You've found foods that fit your macros. You've eliminated the decision fatigue of what to eat. The thought of starting over feels overwhelming. Plus, there's fear. What if you try new foods and they're not as healthy? What if you gain weight? What if you lose your progress? The irony is that by clinging to your narrow definition of healthy eating, you're sacrificing the actual health benefits that come from dietary diversity. So what does food variety actually look like in practice? It's not about eating everything under the sun or abandoning structure entirely. It's about intentional rotation. Instead of having spinach in your smoothie every single day, rotate between spinach, kale, chard, arugula, and romaine. They're all leafy greens, but they have different nutritional profiles and different potential irritants. Instead of eating chicken as your protein source 6 times a week, rotate between chicken, turkey, beef, pork, fish, shellfish, and plant-based proteins. Each one offers different amino acid profiles, different fats, different micronutrients. Your body needs all of them, not just one. Instead of always having sweet potatoes as your carb, cycle through regular potatoes, rice, quinoa, oats, squash, and various other whole grains and starchy vegetables. Same macronutrient category, vastly different micronutrients and effects on your gut bacteria. The rule of thumb? If you're eating something more than 3 or 4 times a week, it's probably too often. Aim to go at least a few days between consuming the same food. This gives your body a break, prevents the buildup of any problematic compounds, and ensures you're getting a wider spectrum of nutrients. And pay special attention to the foods you've deemed as your healthy staples. Those are often the biggest culprits because you eat them without question. Almonds, avocados, blueberries, salmon. These foods aren't bad. They're incredibly nutritious. But eating them every single day creates the exact problems we've been talking about. Here's what happens when you actually implement food variety. First, those mysterious symptoms you couldn't explain start to resolve. The afternoon energy crashes become less frequent. The bloating decreases. Your skin clears up, the brain fog lifts. You didn't add anything magical. You didn't start taking a new supplement. You just stopped overloading your system with the same inputs day after day. Second, your relationship with food becomes less rigid and more joyful. When you're not locked into the same meal rotation, eating becomes interesting again. You start exploring new vegetables at the farmer's market. You try recipes from different cuisines. Food stops being just fuel or a moral choice and becomes something you actually enjoy. Third, your gut health improves dramatically. Study after study shows that microbiome diversity is one of the strongest predictors of overall health. More variety in your diet equals more variety in your gut bacteria, which equals better digestion, better immunity, better mood, better everything. But perhaps the most profound shift is psychological. You stop viewing foods as purely good or bad. You understand that even the healthiest food can become problematic in excess, and even less optimal foods can have a place in a varied diet. This nuanced understanding frees you from the black and white thinking that makes healthy eating feel like a prison. The health and wellness world has overcomplicated nutrition to the point where we've lost sight of basic principles. We're so focused on macros and superfoods and elimination diets that we've forgotten the simple wisdom that humans have known for millennia. Eat a variety of whole foods, rotate your choices, and listen to your body. Your body is constantly giving you feedback. The problem is that when you're eating the same foods all the time, it's hard to hear what it's saying. You can't tell which food is causing the bloating when you eat the same 5 things every day. You can't identify sensitivities when you never give yourself a break from potential triggers. So here's your challenge. For the next month, commit to genuine food variety. Don't eat the same breakfast 2 days in a row. Rotate your protein sources daily. Try one new vegetable every week. Shop in different sections of the grocery store. Order something unfamiliar at restaurants. Notice what happens. Notice how your body feels. Notice your energy levels. Notice your digestion. Notice whether those stubborn symptoms you've been living with start to fade. And if you're worried that this will be too complicated or time-consuming, remember this. You're already spending enormous amounts of time and energy on your current healthy eating routine. Meal prepping, tracking, planning, stressing. You're already doing the work. This is just about redirecting that effort towards something that actually serves your health instead of undermining it. The healthy habit that's making you worse isn't eating vegetables or choosing whole foods or caring about nutrition. It's the monotony. It's the lack of variety. It's eating the same perfect foods day after day until they become a problem. The solution isn't to eat less healthy. It's to eat more diversely healthy. Your body is designed to thrive on variety. It's designed to adapt to changing inputs, to extract different nutrients from different sources, to maintain balance through dietary rotation. When you eat the same things constantly, you're working against your biology, not with it. So maybe it's time to let go of your safe food routine. Maybe it's time to trust that your body can handle more diversity than you're giving it credit for. Maybe it's time to remember that healthy eating isn't about perfecting a narrow list of foods. It's about embracing the full spectrum of what nature provides. Because at the end of the day, the goal isn't just to eat healthy. It's to feel healthy. And if your healthy diet isn't making you feel good, then it's not actually healthy, is it?